disinformation. It is EU Commission, it is the pharmaceutical companies, it is governments, especially in the Western democracies. They are the ones spreading the mis and the disinformation. They are the ones telling people lies. For what? So that pharmaceutical companies make profits and profits and profits. And the risks, well, guess what? You, the taxpayers, you will be left with the risks. And then, of course, they want to target, and they specifically say that, target hard-to-reach population groups. Well, I guess in that instance, they are actually talking about me. Yes, I am a hard-to-target, a hard-to-reach population group, because I saw through their lies from the get-go. I'm still unvaccinated, and I will remain unvaccinated. I will not inject a poisonous substance into my body, point blank. So go ahead and try to target me. Good luck with that.
Also say, at the end you will own nothing and still be happy, but Mr. Klaus Schwab will own everything. So the story, he will never eat the insects, he will force the poor people to eat insects and fake foods and produce hyper-produced foods, you know, with a lot of chemicals inside, and they force poverty upon people will bring them to the fact that they have to buy this kind of food because they can't afford the rest. And by breaking down family farms in the Netherlands, food security will be at high stakes.
So it is like communism, where they take from the poor people, and only the rich people, the elite, they are the ones with all the power.
Well, actually,
and control.
it's very painful to say, but the free and democratic country, known all over the world, that we have very free laws and very free people that travel everywhere and make agreements all over the world, are now forced in some sort of pattern that we are, communism can be, it sounds like communism. They are
climate communism.
Climate communism.
You know what it is?
Yeah. I know what it is now.
Do you realize that fluoridation is the most monstrously conceived and dangerous communist plot we have ever had to face?
Mandrake, you realize that in addition to fluoridating water, where there are studies underway to fluoridate salt, flour, fruit juices, soup, sugar, milk, ice cream, Mandrake, children's ice cream.
Good. You know when fluoridation first began?
No, I don't yet.
1946. 1946, Mandrake. How does that coincide with your post-war commie conspiracy? It's incredibly obvious, isn't it? A foreign substance is introduced into our precious bodily fluids without the knowledge of the individual, certainly without any choice. That's the way a hardcore commie works.
Look at this. From the fucking rain. Check this out. I'll show you now. They are spraying us like a bugs. The fucking poison. Graphene oxide. Same shit like in fucking vaccine. Check it out. See now. It's fucking everywhere. Check it out, I have some magnet. Look at this. Let me show you. See? See? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Sorry about that. Look at this. Fucking shit. Look at this. Let me see. Look at this. Damn. Look at my car. Damn! I'm out.
Watch as this assembly line pumps out tiny machines called micromotors. These micromotors are only a few hundred micrometers long, and they can move when put inside a magnetic field. Scientists propose that micromotors like these could one day deliver drugs inside the body, or clean up wastewater by absorbing pollutants. Micromotors can propel themselves in a number of ways. A popular way to get around is to use a chemical fuel, such as hydrogen peroxide. Materials in the micromotors react with the fuel to produce jets of gas bubbles that push the tiny particles forward. But this approach can introduce toxic compounds into the motor's surroundings. Ditching the fuel and just using an external magnetic field to move the motors avoids these toxicity issues. It's a strategy that's also well suited for biomedical applications because magnetic fields can penetrate the body. Now, a team of researchers at the Chinese University of Hong Kong and Huaqiang University of Science and Technology have developed novel magnetic responsive micromotors made of graphene. Researchers can easily attach other molecules to graphene, and the material has a high surface area which makes it attractive for picking up pollutants. The corkscrew shape helps micromotors move in a rotating magnetic field, but it's been challenging to make helical micromotors from graphene until now. To make the micromotors, the team developed a cheap microfluidic method. The team pumps oil through a solution of graphene oxide and magnetic iron oxide and a solution of sodium alginate. What comes out are tiny corkscrews with an oil droplet head attached to a graphene oxide-based tail, all of which are sealed inside a sodium alginate fiber. The helical motors get their signature shape through the liquid rope coil effect. This effect depends on precisely controlling the flow speed of each fluid. For instance, if the oil is injected slowly, the material comes out fairly straight, but as you increase the oil speed, you'll see the material start to form coils. The team takes the coils they made and reduces the graphene oxide to graphene, then washes away the oil and sodium alginate to isolate individual graphene micromotors. By applying a magnetic field, the researchers could navigate the micromotors through a microfluidic channel, and they found that motors that have smaller diameters and more space between their coils moved best. The team also attached silver to the micromotors to investigate their ability to kill bacteria. The silver micromotors could kill E. coli in a petri dish, most effectively when they were moved around by a magnetic field. While micromotors haven't appeared in real-world applications yet, many devices, like this one, are moving forward.
Now, they looked at quite a few papers originally, but they settled on 5 main randomised trials. And here's the results. As we've said, vitamin D administration, reduced risk of death 0.49. That's a 51% protection, isn't it? And against death and vitamin D administration resulted in a decreased risk of ICU admission 0.28, and as we said, that's a 72% protection. Why is this not being used? A protective role of vitamin D in ICU admission. The trial sequence analysis of the protective role of vitamin D in ICU admission showed that since the pooling of the studies reached the definitive sample size, so it's the definitive sample size was reached, the positive association is conclusive. This is conclusive, according to this paper. Carried out in Italy, not carried out in the States, not carried out in Europe, certainly not carried out in Canada or Australia or New Zealand. We're getting left behind, folks.
We're looking at Oscar, the first human modular prototype that is able to live in various setups. What's going to happen is that I'm going to connect the brain to the heart module to activate the blood circulation. Now, the lung is going to start breathing. can see both organs are now collaborating. I can add a kidney module. And if I add a limb module, I start actuating the organism to move. Now it's looking for the optimal temperature, which is 37 degrees. If I add another limb, Oscar will recognize it and beneficiate from new possibilities.
The longer term implications of net zero, and I've given you all the absolute zero document, and I hope you'll read it, because that coloured bit shows you what is to be achieved by 2030, and that means no flying out of the UK, no ships out of the UK, no cars at all. And no, all wood burners to be ripped out of every home and every gas appliance to be ripped out of every home by 2025. Now, that is a government document, UK fires, absolute zero. And this is where we're heading for with net zero. We will literally be imprisoned on our own island. And this is what this top-down global control is all about. You think it's a green agenda to actually save the planet. It is not. It was implemented at the Earth Summit in 1992 by a bunch of oil billionaires, crooks. And and all of you, bless you, are trying to save the planet, and you've been hoodwinked. I was in the Green Party in the 1990s. I left. I was a member of the Ecology Party. I left because it got taken over. It became a Trojan horse for the technocratic agenda that I'm talking about, Agenda 2030. And I tell you what, they planned this from the 1970s. It's a long-term agenda, and I would love to be able to give all of you a presentation. I've been on this for 15 years, and I've been giving talks all over the world about this via YouTube, everywhere, because I'm passionate about it. I've impoverished myself doing this. So I just want you to just hear me out. We're living now in what's known as what's coming is what's known as a zero trust world. So whether you know it or not, the digital ID is coming. Now, this is a big thing for everyone to understand. Digital ID is really the way the government will actually have all your data in one place. And they're bringing this in by December this year. This is really serious. And then they want the CBDCs after that, the central banking digital currencies. Now, this has got nothing to do with being green. It's big business. It's massive business, because underpinning this whole agenda are capitalist stakeholders. Now, this is what's worrying, is that this whole green agenda is based on top-down control of us, we the people. And unfortunately, people who literally glue themselves to buildings, bless them, they've got our best intentions at heart. They're barking up the wrong tree. They're actually supporting the people who want to imprison us. Well, it's communitarianism, call it whatever you like. But either way, it's not anything about our rights and freedoms. It's about destroying our rights and freedoms. And Ian, you're a butcher. Look down that list. By 2030, they want to get rid of meat and lamb and everything. This is ludicrous. This is all being done without our consent. All of this is in place. And the zero trust world means that you will not be able to, they're getting rid of VPN, you will not be able to open your computer or any other you won't be able to access your bank account, your health records, anything, or even go into a hospital without your digital ID. Your digital ID will be unlocked by your facial recognition, and in that process, you'll be data harvested. Your data will be harvested from from your digital ID. Every bit of your information will be on there. That is being sold to stakeholders on the blockchain by non-fungible tokens. I don't know if you understand all this, but this is actually your data is being sold on the blockchain, or it will be. And this is a form of currency. This form of currency they will be using is the CBDC, is from the CBDCs, from the central banking digital system. Every time you make a transaction, everything's recorded, tracked and traced. And so they will know all your shopping habits, your health records, everything. All that is sold. So we are becoming a commodity. Us human beings will become a commodity. And that is what the whole global enslavement is about.
Habit of buying junk fast foods that have no actual food in them. We buy gallons of poisonous household cleaners when one degradable soft soap will do. We are poisoning our homes and wasting our hard-earned money for no good reason. Why? Because the advertising industry tells us to. They just want you to buy stuff. For example, if a company pollutes the environment or uses bad business practices, if you don't buy their stuff, they will change. If you don't want food with chemicals or GMOs in it, then don't buy it. The minute we start taking responsibility and spending our money wisely, every politician, every corporation, and leader around the world is going to know that we have woken up. This is the 21st century. If we use our resources wisely, there is no reason why anyone shouldn't have what they need. There's no reason whatsoever why people are still starving to death on our planet. And the common man or woman, whether they are Israeli or Palestinian, Protestant or Catholic or Iraqi or American, the common man just wants to live in peace and justice in a clean environment. When we look around the world and we see that that is not the case, we know that the will of the majority is not being listened to. That's the first sign that our system is broken. Government won't make these changes for us. Yet again, it is down to the common man. No company will continue a practice or a product that you, the consumer, will not buy.